We played a bunch of games this year.
And we reviewed most of them.
But which ones are the best ones? In this video we're gonna rank the best of this year. All the games we played, all the games we reviewed.
Not all the games we played, all the games we reviewed.
But we reviewed all the best ones, so we took those and then ranked individually. Now we put it all together and haven't seen the results. So at the end of this video you will have 10 games here, from the best to worst, that this year we played. So there could be games from the 60s.
It's our list, our best games of the year. Don't judge us. Well, do judge us in the comments.
More comments the better.
Yeah, do judge us. Come on.
Number 10, 3, 2, 1, Twilight Inscription.
Feels like forever ago we reviewed it. Twilight Inscription is a roll and write game set in the world of Twilight Imperium.
So each of you play a race that is competing with one another, and you try to get the most points at the end of the game. And you have 4 sheets.
Huge sheets!
Yeah, which each works completely different.
One sheet is for exploring new planets, another sheet is for creating warships and fighting wars with each other, another is for production. So many things to do. Definitely the longest roll and write I've ever played.
You draw an event, which says what happens, then you roll dice, and then you can use those results
on one of your sheets. That's also one of the choices. You have to pick a sheet and spend all the results on that one sheet.
And then chain effects happen based on what you just drew. One of the best things about it, it's really good when you're playing solo. Plus there's a bunch of choices, which we love here. Planet Unknown.
Wow. Planet Unknown is a polyomino game with a lazy Susan.
This is a competitive game where each player plays a corporation trying to find out what's this unknown planet all about. On your turn, if you're the first player, you turn around this lazy Susan. When you stop, when you decide, hey, this is a tile that I want to pick, you just pick it and use it. Wherever the lazy Susan landed, because of my actions, you get the consequences, because you will have to choose a tile that's pointing towards your direction.
But next round, I'll be the starting player, and then I can rotate it and pick one.
Then you take the tile and place on your planet, which is now more known than before. And you get some bonuses from those tiles that you just placed.
And you mark those on your corporation board. And as you move up these tracks on the corporation board, you will unlock new things. You will get more points, you will get extra actions, you will get like special cars that give you some kind of benefit. Which tiles and how? And you score points for filling out your planet. You score points for cleaning off like meteorites off your planets. We called it space poop, I think.
Space poop,
It seems like a complex game, but it isn't.
No. Very straightforward and simple to understand, yet choices. Number 8 is Kocol.
Kocol is definitely not a new game. Everyone's gonna be like, what? They only played it in 2023? That's right.
It's a competitive game, either 1 versus 1 or 2 versus 2, and you have to flick discs and try to hit the center.
You can knock out other players' discs. If you hit directly in the center, that disc is removed and it gives you 20 points immediately.
So on your turn, just take a disc, place it on a white line and flick it.
It was my most played party game of the year.
Something that you can play a bunch of times in just one sitting because it's addictive.
The only regret for me and downside for this game is that I only discovered it this year.
Mindbug.
Wow. Mindbug is a simple card game that replicates the collectible card game gameplay.
The most complicated way how to explain a game. 2-player card game where you fight one against another.
Yeah, but it does by replicating the collectible card game gameplay. So each player gets 10 card deck and you draw 5 of those immediately from the get-go. On your turn, you either play a card or you activate a card. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to damage the opponent 3 times. Take away 3 of his life points.
But there's one catch. Both of us have 2 Mindbug cards that we can use at any time when the opponent plays a card.
So for example, I play this huge, crazy, big monster.
And I say, haha, I will use my Mindbug and take your card. Now it's mine. But I have used up one of my 2 Mindbugs. And you also have 2 Mindbugs. These 2 very powerful choices that you will have in each game.
And each of the monsters has special abilities, different strengths, and some of them better, some of them worse, depending on the situation. Now you know how it replicates the collectible card game gameplay.
Number 6 is Earth. How does this replicate the competitive card collecting board game?
It does not. Earth is a competitive Euro game, hand management, action selection. Hey, you asked for it. Where you build your own island consisting of trees, bushes, and different kind of plants, which will potentially score you points at the end of the game.
And the game ends when somebody has finished his or her island.
Each round, somebody will be the starting player and he'll pick one of the actions that everybody's gonna do. But since he's the starting player, he gets a bonus action. So his action is slightly better than everybody else's.
1, you can plant any plant. 2, get more soil to plant.
Soil is like the money in this game. To plant those cards, you have to pay soil.
To get more cards, because to plant these cards, you have to get these cards.
That's where one of the biggest choices come in. During the game, you will draw a bunch of cards where you have to keep some. Which ones?
And the last action is to grow the plants you already have planted.
It also has this 3D element to the game.
And this game is simultaneous.
Simultaneous.
That's what I said. All of you play in the same time and it's much quicker. It gives the same impact that Ark Nova or other big Euro games, just quicker. But it also makes it a bit more difficult because you have to make these same tough decisions just much quicker. In Earth, you're growing stuff, and also we're trying to grow together with you this channel, make it bigger, better, and our supporters are helping with that, so thank you.
Consider becoming our supporter just to have more videos to watch.
Eon's Trespass Odyssey.
Of course it's so high. You rated it like 1 or 2?
My second favorite game of the year. Might be first one if it would be a bit more accessible. Yeah, but it's an amazing, big and massive game, and we have talked a lot about it. I have talked a lot about it. You haven't listened all the time.
It's amazing, it's a great story, it's a ship management, you play somebody who can control a titan, it's ancient Greece, like all these myths, and then there's this big board where you fight these other titans and gods, you have all these items and you can upgrade stuff, and there's exploration just like in 7th Continent, and the story is amazing. It made you cry, it made you laugh, it changed your life, you're not the same, you're a better person now since you've completed only the first act of the game that took you 100 hours to complete, and now you're thinking of doing it all over again with your wife because you backed the app that narrates everything and you don't have to read anything, blah 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 blah. Number 5 of 2023. Can we move on now?
Terror Escape.
Terror Escape.
My favorite hidden movement game. In this game, you either play the villain, bad guy who's trying to kill intruders. People come into his house, it's not his fault. He has a chainsaw in his hands and he wants to kill you.
He's just
you came in that house, it's your fault.
He's just protecting himself. Some kids sneak into your house, and then trying to use your phone without asking you, running around, making noise. Of course you want to chainsaw them in half. It makes perfect sense.
Or on the other side, you play these kids that are running away from rain and hides in this mansion, but the door shut and they have to get out because they hear a chainsaw sound on the other side of the wall.
And that is just one of the bad guys. Like in the base game, there are 3 different ones.
Yeah. The bad guy wins if he kills at least one of the intruders, and the good guys win if they get out of the house or call the police.
On your turn, you can move or do some certain actions. It is like a co-op on this team side part, and we want to communicate, right? But the other player who's playing the bad guy doesn't see our part of the board. They doesn't know where we are. That's why we go like. Also, that feels thematic.
And also, you place down noise whenever you do stuff. Really interesting, cool, and thrilling gameplay. Star Wars deck building.
Wow, that's high. I think we're gonna be the only top that has this game so high.
But I just love it because of its simplicity, because of its uniqueness. One of you played Rebels and the other one played the Empire. So it's 1 versus 1, and the winner is whoever destroys the opponent's 4 bases.
On your turn, you're gonna play cards to either deal damage to the opponent's base or buy cards, or instead of dealing the damage to opponents, you can deal damage to the cards in the market. So I could destroy a really good card that you have there so you don't purchase it on your turn.
Yeah. It's really, really quick. You really can build your deck to your liking. There's all the characters that you want from a Star Wars game.
Small, fast, simple, yet quite deep and meaningful.
I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, yet I really rank this game highly. I really love it.
I'm super interested about game number 2, but before we do, did you know that Catan author was a dentist?
Oh no, I didn't.
Anyway, let's move on to number 2.
Nemesis Retaliation.
Wow, this game is not out yet. It's not gonna be out for like 2 years almost, I think.
Yeah.
It's coming out 2025. We did play a prototype of it this year and we did a review of it.
In this game, you each play a soldier.
A mercenary heading down to a facility, a base that you need to explore because there's an objective you need to do.
You win the game if you first of all survive, which is the hard part, and also fulfill an objective, which is almost as hard as the hard part. But you get 2 objectives. One is a really good one that everybody gets. Go in, get those eggs, get out, or do a similar type of thing. And then you have a secret objective, which you could say like, kill Giannis.
Basic feel of Nemesis, but quite different gameplay.
You work as a team, it's a cooperative game kinda. Somebody could be traders, all of you could be traders. And on your turns you play cards that give you some action points, which let you move, shoot, and do other things because aliens come at you in bunches, in
all
hordes,
the time, and a lot of them.
It's this movie that you run through as a team or not so much as a team. Go in, shoot, have a good time, and also backstab somebody.
Board Game Hangover's Game of the Year of 2023 is...
Funny enough, this is actually a game that came out this year. Hegemony? We are gushing over this game. At one point this year, I felt like I've already played almost all the type of games and I'm kind of getting bored of it. Not really, but what else could surprise me? And then I played this game.
In this game, there are 4 roles that you play. There is the working class, there's the middle class, there's the capitalist, and then there's the state. And each of you has a different deck with different actions.
With all this asymmetry, you all work together as well because you're one big system. You're running the country. Make political choices, and all those political choices influence every single player.
Everything's connected in that game. If I'm the capitalist, I have a lot of companies where I need workers. So maybe we can work something out.
So we should be friendly, right? We should work together and all that, but only one will win the game.
Yeah.
Individual, competitive game where you have to work together. You don't want the state to bankrupt, but you do.
Each round, each player will have 7 cards, and you will play 5 of those. And you can play the card for the event that's on the card, or just discard the card and do one of your basic actions, which are quite different for each of the roles.
Each of us can propose a bill, so change some rules in the country, change the tax amounts, change the healthcare. State, for example, wants other people to feel good, right, about his country, but you also need them to pay a lot of taxes to you, so you will raise the taxes, which nobody will like except you.
And then they go on a strike, and oh man, it's just so much. It is a heavy game.
Yeah.
It is a very heavy game. There's a lot of rules, even though it's not that hard to get into.
It's one of my favorite games of all time, spoiling now.
Uh-oh.
And it's so unique, it's so interesting, it's deserving of the game of the year for us.
If not the best, then definitely no lower than second best asymmetric game that I have ever played. Anyway, what was your best game of the year? Which of these would make your top 10, if any? Thanks for watching, and let us know what are your top games of the year.